I'm Reverend Jessie Brandon, and you're watching Epiphanies. I'm a life cycle celebrant and a metaphysical minister, and here I get to have my two greatest loves together, people and books. So I hope you're in a comfy chair and you've got something warm to drink. And today we are going to be talking about Green This, Greening Your Cleaning. It's volume 1, and it's by Deirdre
Imus.
Okay,
yeah.
I never.
Or at least that's how I pronounce it, anyways.
Okay, because it was like Imus, I must. How is
I might
she?
be pronouncing it wrong as well. I'm not quite sure.
Deirdre. That's who we're talking about. Deirdre. So my guest today is Melissa Vanden Heuvel, and she is a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and health coach. She's on a mission to help autoimmune warriors overcome their health symptoms and achieve optimal health. Suddenly my tongue is not working. Can you fix that? So she now happily supports her clients' unique healing code by creating bespoke healing protocols, as well as guiding them to tune into their own inner healer so that they can feel empowered to make the right choices on the path to optimum health. And of course, all of her information will be on the TV screen. Melissa, thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having me, Jessie.
And tell me why you chose this book.
I chose this book. Thank you. I chose this book because it's really where I started on my health journey. So in 2007, I ended up getting cystic acne, which led me to researching and figuring out what was the cause. And it was a friend who had told me about parabens and phthalates and these chemicals that were in our skincare products. And then, so I started researching that, and then it led to household cleaners. So I found this book, and it was really pretty eye-opening because I think when I found this book, I had started already using natural cleaners, but I didn't really quite understand, did they actually work? Was I, making the right choices for my family? Was I actually cleaning my house with, vinegar and baking soda? It was, it's vinegar and baking soda. Like, how can this actually work, right?
Yeah.
So I had picked this up, and it was really pretty eye-opening. So she is... her husband is a DJ, and she works with oncology, so she works with kids who have cancer.
Wow.
So they have a ranch where they bring kids out to the ranch who have cancer to try and help them to heal. So they worked with the food, they worked with nutrition, but they were like, okay, what's going on with these cleaners? We have these toxic cleaners that when we clean our house, they leave behind these residues, which are, carcinogenic, and they even are neurotoxic. And we're having sick people coming into our environment, and we're having these, toxic residues. So it didn't make sense to her. And also, the oncology unit at the hospital near them. What does it say here? So it's at the Hackensack University Medical Center in New Jersey. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But anyway, so she approached the board there at the hospital and said, look, can we use these cleaners, test them, see how effective they are? And so they did, and what actually happens, let me see if I can find here. I should be wearing my glasses. So she found, I had a couple different ones here. They brought in, so they ended up bringing, it was 20, oh my gosh, I should be wearing glasses. They had 20 some odd cleaners that they were using, like chlorine, bleaches, and all that stuff, and they brought it down to about 11 cleaners
in the hospital.
Uh-huh. And they tested to make sure that they were actually effective, that they were like disinfecting. And all the places that they got to reduce them and the only place they couldn't reduce it was in the OR room, because they have to use a germicide, which is a little bit toxic, or quite toxic actually.
Yeah.
But they need to be able to kill tuberculosis, I think is what the book said. But other than that, they got down from, like I said, I think it was 29 down to 11 cleaners, and they actually found that the baking sodas, the vinegars, the cleaners that they were making with essential oils actually did a better job in some cases than what they were using with the bleaches and all that stuff. So
really?
It was really pretty eye-opening for me, and it also made me start questioning things. So at this time, when this happened, I got sick, and just before that, my son had also started developing asthma. It wasn't asthma, but he had these breathing episodes where he would, kind of have asthma-like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So at that time, he was old enough to clean the house. So I'll just say that. And that was one of his jobs that I made him do. I'd be like, hey, you know what? You're going to go and clean the bathroom. So, and this was before I was using natural cleaners, just to be clear. So you know, I'd go in there, and I don't know if anyone else is, you know, if your listeners here use natural or don't use natural cleaners, or using conventional stuff like Tilex or whatever. You spray them on your shower, and you actually get a little bit of a cough. You go, I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but that's our lungs. This is the lung irritant. This is actually toxic to our lungs. So our lungs are trying to spit that chemical out. It's trying to protect you. So I used to tell him, you know, go spray that. You know, I know you're going to cough, but, you know, just leave until that kind of calms down, and then go back in and clean, because then it's safe.
Yeah.
You know, well, didn't make any sense to me, right? But I figured out after I switched over, his asthma went away. He didn't need the inhalers anymore. He didn't need, you know, any of that. So, like, you know, the Singular, because they actually had prescribed him Singular at the time. And I was like, wow, this is pretty, you know, in-depth. So this book totally goes into a lot of different things we don't think about. So our dishwasher, for example, we put in, I don't even know some of the names anymore.
Finish.
Yeah, so any of these little tabs and stuff like that, you know, some of them are pretty colors. They got chlorine bleach in them. They got all these, who knows what other chemicals in them. And they put them in the dishwasher. We have that little vent out on the dishwasher. Well, where are your dogs and your kids walking? What level are they walking around at? This is where all the chlorine gas is coming in. So at every turn in our home, we think that we're providing, you know, a clean and safe environment for us, but we're not. We know that the indoor air pollution inside of our homes is actually, I think they said in this book, this was about 10 years ago, it was 5 times more toxic than our outside air. We know that in this book, they were talking about how janitors actually have a lesser lifespan because they're working with so many toxic cleaners. But yet we're using these in our children's classrooms, we're using them in our homes, so we're constantly being bombarded with these toxic residues. Take, for example, a bathtub. So you're having a bath after you've cleaned. Well, if you've ever had a bath, you can kind of still feel that film on there. You're like, oh, that's a little bit kind of soapy film. Well, guess what you're doing now? You're swimming in a toxic soup bath. Like, those residues are going. Same thing happens when you have a bowl of soup. If you use the Finish or whatever dishwasher tabs you're using, well, all that residue is still in your glass. So when you have a hot soup and you pour the hot soup into there, and you can feel the film. So now it's like you're having little.
I'm starting to feel a little bit panicky.
This is what happens, and this is where I was, and this is, you know, I was pretty sick, you know, going back 12 years ago when I discovered this information, and you know, it was like really shocking. And what else is all really shocking is that the cleaning industry, if you ever pick up, I wish I had a cleaner with me here. We'll use Tide, for example. If you were to get poisoned with Tide and you wanted to know what was in that box, well, it's not on the box. You can't read a label like you can a food package and see, okay, well, what's in here? So if you call Tide and you ask them what chemicals are in their actual product, they can't tell you because it's trade secret.
I was going to say can't or won't.
They won't. It's trade secret.
Yeah.
So if you get poisoned, the poison control, they'll give you the remedy, but they won't. They don't have what's in there either. Like it's very crazy. It's very secretive. And then okay, I should see if I can find some of these links here or posts here. So they it's largely unregulated, the cleaning industry. I think there's about 80,000 chemicals in use today, and of those, only a small fraction have ever been tested for safety, and even those that are on the market have even failed safety requirements. So
I can't get my mouth to close.
Yeah, this is why I do. So this is, you know, and this is just the cleaning industry. Wow. It is very alarming. And it's something to be, you know, concerned about. And when we know that there's vinegar or baking soda or lemon or salt, and these are, you know, very much non-toxic, very biodegradable as well, because they're not harming our aquatic, which is something else that happens with a lot of the chemicals that we're washing down our streams. But this is, you know, we're promoting a healthy environment, we're promoting a healthy body, and we're also getting effectively cleaned. So it is pretty amazing that so what is it?
I'm sitting here thinking that right now my housekeeper is at my house cleaning with toxic chemicals.
Yeah, and then think about her. Like, here's her. Now her life is going to be shortened because she's constantly every day exposing herself to these chemicals.
And she worked in a hospital for many, many years as a cleaner. So she's been around it for a long time. Yeah,
there's some professions, like this is all about cleaning, but there's a lot of professions. Hairdressers are another one that tend to have shorter lifespans because of the chemicals that they're exposed to. And a lot of the same chemicals that are in cleaners or in hair, chemical hair dyes and stuff like that, they're getting exposed to.
And I'm thinking about the environment, too.
The environment.
I mean, all of this is going down in the water.
We know there's a CBC documentary called The Disappearing Male. I don't know if you've ever heard of it,
no.
but it was done probably almost about 10 years ago. And they did some studies on fish and amphibians, and they're finding that amphibians now are being born with both sexes. They're being born both female or male and having both like ovaries and testicles. There's a big feminizing going on, and this is from all the the xenoestrogens, the fake estrogens that are in our products. So the parabens, the phthalates. So phthalates are in pretty much anything that you see that's registered as a fragrance that's going to have phthalates in it. And that is a xenoestrogen or a fake estrogen, and it mimics estrogens in our body. Our estrogen receptors will pick up these estrogens and bind to them, which is not a healthy estrogen. So these can create and form estrogen cancers, estrogen causing cancer. So like ovarian cancer, breast cancers, even prostate cancers, anything that has to do with the reproductive organs. So these fake estrogens, we're being bombarded with them because they're in our cleaners, they're in our personal care products, they're in the environment. Like we can barely go into a public bathroom nowadays without there being an air freshener on the wall that is putting phthalates out into the environment, which is affecting our hormones.
And you're saying phthalates.
Phthalates. So it's PTHALATES.
Okay.
Phthalates. And you'll never really see them on the label just because, occasionally you will. So on nail polish you'll see dimethyl phthalate, but most of the time you won't see them listed on the label. Fragrance in itself can have hundreds of different chemicals put into that to make that one smell. So in order for them to, list 100 different chemicals in that one word, labels would be ginormous. It's not practical. So they can get away with fragrance, and fragrance is often trade secreted. We don't know if these chemicals have even been tested for safety, if they've been approved, and many of them we do know are xenoestrogens, neurotoxins, or carcinogens, and they're still approved in our products for use because they're in small amounts. But what the government fails to do is they fail to go, okay, well, the average woman puts on, 126 chemicals or more to their body before she's, left her house in the morning just from showering. And then we have the chemical cleaners that we're having, and then we got the chemicals in our food. So there's like sometimes these parabens and stuff like that can also be in our food. So we have, xenoestrogens in our food. And it's like, we're being bombarded, and our liver and our body isn't able to keep up and to detoxify as quickly as it once used to. And that's what she's saying here is that, childhood cancer nowadays is like the leading cause of death in children. And where was this? Like when we were growing up, we didn't hear about childhood cancer.
No,
there really wasn't that. And now it's like, you look at Children's Hospital down in Toronto, I have friends that have had, children who have had cancer, and it's like, where does this come from? We're not looking, and it is toxins in our environment. So, because these, it wasn't until 2006, by the way, that the actual cosmetic industry started having to put ingredients labels on products, because before that they were largely very much similar to what the chemical cleaners, the household cleaners are. So now we're starting to ask, what is in our products? We're starting to ask about what's in our food, what's in these products. But because of trade secrets, we get kind of left in the dark, and a lot of people maybe aren't even aware of this stuff because we are so, bombarded with news and stuff, and it's like, look at this Tide, and look how pretty this is, and they got the spring commercials, and we love smell. Like when I used to use this stuff, being like Tide and fabric softener and stuff, I used to love the vanilla scent. So I used to buy the vanilla ultra fresh downy and the concentrated, and they say put this much in the capsule, and I'd put in a whole capful because I couldn't smell it. Like I just couldn't smell it anymore. So I wanted to have, it wasn't about my clothes being soft, I wanted to walk around smelling like a vanilla bean. I don't know. Right? So 4 years later, I after I stopped using this stuff, I go to my clothes and they still smell like vanilla. They've been sitting in my, my closet for, 4 years because I hadn't touched them, but they still smelled. And I'm like, this is crazy. And then if you feel the clothes, they have chemical residues on them. And it actually, fabric softener is actually probably one of the most toxic things that we can be using on our bodies as well as on our clothes and in our air. Because when you think about when you're using if you ever walk by somebody's house when they're using their dryer and they're using fabric softener, the whole outside smells like,
yeah,
you know, whatever, vanilla.
Yeah.
You know?
I love vanilla.
Yeah, no,
too.
I love vanilla, right? Yeah. But this is it. So that chemical smell is staying on your clothes when we sweat, when we're, you know, when we get damp, everything gets absorbed. Our skin is our largest organ. It's a sponge. You know, we have nicotine patches because nicotine gets absorbed into our skin. The same way any chemical or anything that we apply to our skin is going to get absorbed as well. So, you know, we have to be aware. We have to be, you know, forward thinking and what is, you know, what is going on, because we do have industries who are out there to make a buck. You know what I mean? And they don't necessarily have our best interests at heart. Like I used to think because it was sold on a shelf that it was safe.
Yeah.
And you know, when I just started doing this, I started making my own cleaners. So this is one of the things. I have a lot of recipes in here on how to do things, and so I started making my own cleaners.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Like, what are you using? And
it's honestly, so I use, I've been making my own for now like 12 years, and I started selling them. But so baking soda is one of my favorite things. Buy it in bulk because you're going to use lots of it. Vinegar, white vinegar, super easy. Water, of course. Lemon. I use borax. Now that one's kind of controversial for some people. If you are going to use borax, just make sure that you're not going to be like kind of breathing over the dust if you're pouring it, because it's the dust that is like it's inhaling it that has the issue. Borax in the washing soda, and Castile soap. So Dr. Bronner's Castile soap that's basically what I use. So for my sinks in my bathtub, baking soda, if you want it to be like a soft scrub, if you like that kind of feel, like if you're using like a Vim type thing, put a little bit of Castile soap in it, you make like a nice smooth soft paste. This stuff is amazing.
And where do you get Castile soap?
You can get it here in Barrie. We could get it at any health food store, but Goodness Me or Nutrition Plus downtown.
So it's not something you'd find on your standard shelf.
Zara's might have it in their natural health section.
And I'm thinking Castille for some
One
reason.
L.
1L.
Yeah, so Castile. So it's like, I think it's from a region in France.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just, it's like coconut oil. And so the one that I use is Dr. Bronner's, and it's coconut oil and hemp oil. And there might be another oil in there. And it's just that the oils mixed together with sodium hydroxide, which is lye, which is caustic when it's on its own, but when it gets mixed with these oils, it neutralizes and it becomes soap. So they've been using sodium like hydroxide forever for that.
Yeah.
But it's amazing soap. So you buy it in a bottle, about a liter bottle. I think it's like $20-something, $22. And honestly, that bottle will last you probably a good 6 months.
Really?
Yeah.
And you use it like for everything?
I use that. I buy foamer bottles. So you know the foam soap bottles that you can get? So you can put about 2 teaspoons, so that'd be 10 millimeters of Castile soap in the bottom of your bottle, depending on the size of it. Fill the rest up with distilled water because you don't want to have the water having the bacteria in it, because then that adds bacteria to the soap. And then that's all you need for your foam soap. And so this is why your bottle can last forever. You can use it for washing your dishes. I used to brush my teeth with it.
Really?
They say they have 18-in-1 uses. I use it for tons of different things. And then baking soda, so like I said, that makes a really nice thing. I make a multi-purpose cleaner that is with washing soda, borax, vinegar, and Castile soap. And you can put essential oils in it to whatever scents that you like.
Vanilla.
And exactly, vanilla. Actually, lavender and pine are my favorite for this. I don't know, I like those too. But yeah, so you just mix those together, and I make a big 4-liter jug of that, and that will last me like a whole year almost. And I clean all my bathrooms. We have a wood, our fireplace. So before we had discovered natural cleaning, we used to have to use this really kind of creamy, toxic, skull and crossbones cleaner for the glass. Well, as soon as I made this cleaner, you spray it on, and the soot just trips off. Like, it's oven cleaner. It's amazing. We use it to clean our barbecue. It's a really heavy-duty, powerful, multi-purpose cleaner. It works for stains on clothes.
Wow.
It works on everything. Like, I've been using that. And then laundry, I use soap nuts. Soap nuts.
Soap nuts.
Yeah. So you can buy those at the health food store. They're from they come off of a tree called the soapberry tree, and they're from the Himalayan mountains. And they're little. They grow in a tree. They're little soap nuts, and they have sapins in them. So you put them. I boil them in water to make a liquid. I'll make about 8 liters of my laundry detergent, and that will last me a few months, probably about 4 months. I think I buy about 3 boxes of these a year, so that's probably about $75 a year I spend on laundry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And they get to compost too. Like when you're finished with them, and they come in a box. So there's really like no plastic. They're very environmentally friendly, really easy to use. They clean great.
So if I walk into Bulk Barn and ask for soap nuts?
No, you're going to go to Goodness Meat or Nutrition Plus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
They will have soap nuts, and they're amazing. But boil them in water first. So if you need any help, let me know, and I'll. Yeah.
Oh, you are coming to my place, honey, because I'm switching over.
Yeah. It is, and this is what's so amazing is that, and even say air fresheners. If you want an air freshener in your home, you can use vinegar and water, and if you want to scent it, you could put a little bit of vanilla extract in there, or you could put essential oils in it. And that's a good cleaner. Window cleaner, vinegar, water, and a little bit of the Castile soap. Mm-hmm. What else would you need to clean? Baking soda for carpets. Like, there's even pest control recipes in here on how to do pest control. Like, we don't need all these toxic cleaners. We've become so toxic or dependent upon toxic chemicals, but yet we can see that our health is failing. Our environment is also struggling. Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about climate control, but I don't know that we're addressing it. Like, we're talking large scale, but we need to address it, right down here on the home front.
This is it. And most people, if they knew how toxic the cleaners are that they're using, and they understood that, like, nobody wants their toddler crawling around on a floor that has toxic residue and picking up food off of it, or walking by the dishwasher, their pets. Like,
yeah, we have 2 puppies, and we Swiffer the floor every day.
I was just going to bring up the Swiffer. So the Swiffer WestJet, years ago, lots of pets were dying from it. I don't know if you're aware of that, but
I was not.
They were. Yeah. So these things, and this is what happens, right? Toxins in the body, not everybody's going to react the same. Some people, are able to process them and handle them a lot quicker. Other people can't, and really it's a matter of genetics. So,
well, it's funny. I'm sitting here scratching my arm. I don't know if you noticed that, but I was thinking as you said it, I just put a whole bunch of toxins on me today. No wonder I'm itchy.
I'm fun to hang out, aren't I?
yeah, you'd be great at a party.
Aren't I? Party pooper. Yeah.
That's funny. Well, actually, no. You're a breath of fresh air, as it were, because it's true. We do have all these toxins and things, and I think I live in denial. I have to tell you, I know that there's crap in there, but I want a clean house. I don't want a place that smells good. And there's a place in the mall that I go by these beautiful little whatchamacallits that I screw into my wallflowers, and right now my whole house smells of eucalyptus, and I'm feeling very, on top of things, but it's chemicals.
So and so with that, there's so many people that are selling essential oils nowadays, whether it's doTERRA or Young Living. Find one of them. You got to have a friend, I'm sure, that does.
I do.
Or many of them.
Yes. Hi, Pat.
And they sell the oil, I don't want to say burners because they're not a burner, but the diffusers.
Yeah.
That is what you need, and that's not gonna, pollute your lungs. A lot of these air fresheners, they're also petrochemicals.
I have a diffuser that I always put essential oils in, and when I started using, my daughter got me onto the wallflowers. I'm gonna hold her accountable.
Yeah, you can give them back. Here you go. Here you go.
Yeah, here you go. They're all yours.
Well, no, you don't want to do that either, because then you're making her breathe in that stuff too. Yeah. So, the essential oil burners or diffusers are much safer. Warning though, you do want to make sure the ones that you are diffusing are safe for your pets. Always check to make sure.
Thinking.
Our guy is really sensitive, and we were doing a lot of oils in our home, and he started having really weird behavior. So we started cluing in that he was reacting to what we were diffusing. So.
See, and I just keep saying, well, they're only 7 months old. They're puppies, so of course they're nuts. You know, but.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, this is it. Like, our guy was older, so it was easier for us to see a different reaction in his behavior. But there are oils, and I don't know them offhand, but there are some.
I was just going to say, so what are they? So who would know? How can
I would talk to your rep, whoever you buy your oils from. But yes, if you do Google pets essential oils that are safe for dogs, dogs and cats have different oils. So cats are a lot less available to them for them. So.
I'm sorry, cats and dogs what?
They have different essential oils that bother them. So the dogs, they have a lot more available to them. Like you can burn or diffuse a lot more oils safely, whereas cats, they're a lot more sensitive. And you have to be
2 of each. So
yeah. So with the cats, so read the cats and then just double check because you wanted to make sure that you are not doing that, because there has been some instances of people have been diffusing without being aware, and there has been some instances of pets being harmed.
Yeah, and it's funny because you just automatically know you're using dangerous chemicals. So like my partner did the floors for me the other day, and he said he put the dogs outside, and I said, but it's cold out, and he said, yeah, but it's death in here.
Well, and this is it.
Like, you know, you say stuff like that, and you think you're funny, but.
And one of the best things for floors, besides vinegar and water, steamers. Just pick up yourself a steamer, like steaming, cleaning with steam. You can't beat it.
It's in the garage.
It's like the old exercise machines, right?
Yeah. I got a treadmill in the basement too, and I go down and say, nice treadmill, walk away. No, I am trying to do it. But anyway, Melissa, this has been so enlightening. I'm really blown away, and I want this book now. So let me just have another look at it. Green This. Greening Your Cleaning by Deidre Imus. We'll have to phone her and say, Deirdre, I'm saying Deidre, and it's Deirdre. Yeah. Well, that's fabulous. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been, okay. I'm sorry. I'm going to out you, Deanne. I just heard my producer say something, and I answered her instead of you. That's very cool. So yeah, so did I hear you say that you actually make and sell this stuff?
I used to. You can go onto my website, and I do have, if you opt into my newsletter, I have a free guide where I provide a ton of information about greenwashing, because that's another thing, whole other topic.
Yeah.
And recipes and what to look for and how to shop and ingredients that you need to avoid. There's a whole guide that I put together. It's about 30 pages, and it gives you a whole whack of information from soap nuts to everything that you need to know.
Well, from soap to nuts.
Soap to nuts.
There we go. All right. Well, wow, that's just amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate all this information. And yeah, I'm going to be learning at the knee of Mel and Anth. So yeah, thank you so much for dropping into Epiphanies today. It's been a really interesting show, and we've learned a lot about how not to clean ourselves. So thanks for dropping in. Hope to see you next time here on Epiphanies. Bye now.